Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to Portugal once again. We're going to revisit the city of Porto and do another beer review from Cerveja Colossus, or Colossus Craft Brewery, however you want to call them. So for this one we're going to have a taste of their Vasco. So this one is their Imperial Stout. It comes in at 9% ABV. I have had a little taste of this beer before and I have to say it was pretty nice. So definitely looking forward to having a sort of longer, more in-depth taste of this one, and as always I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. A big shout out to the guys at Market Hall Wines, Mark and David, for getting a hold of this one for me. They are really into their Portuguese wines at the moment and they were able to import a few craft beers as well, so that was really cool that they kept one of each aside for me, and it was really cool to be able to review those for you. I really enjoyed the IPA. The Adamantia was really kind of interesting as well, a smoked wit beer, and I know that this is a nice beer as well, so I'm looking forward to having a more kind of in-depth tasting of this one for you guys here on the channel. So as always, I hope you guys enjoy my take on this one. If you are particularly interested in Portuguese beer, do also make sure you check out my friend Craig over at Kent Beer Reviews. His wife is Portuguese. He goes down to Madeira quite a lot and he's filmed a good 20 or so, he's filmed quite a few Portuguese craft beer reviews, so make sure you check out his channel, and no doubt he will be adding even more to that over the next little while. But he had good things to say about the Portuguese beers actually, so hopefully I can review a few more of those for myself at some point in the future. But yeah, you'll find all those links in the description below. But anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Cerveja Colossus before. Hopefully I can add some more in the near future, but this one will be the last one for a wee while. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Portuguese beers that I've reviewed for you. That is going to be added to hopefully at some point in the fairly near future. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Cerveja Colossus then, onto my brewery notes. So the Colossus Craft Brewery, as I've told you before, are based in Porto in Portugal, and they were founded back in 2015 by João Oliveira. So João had been a home brewer since 2013, and he started brewing because the selection of microbrewed beers and just the beer selection in general in Portugal was very, very small. So he wanted to make beers that he really just enjoyed drinking himself. So he developed his first recipe while he was finishing his business degree and also working in IT support as well. But eventually he quit his job in early 2015, and by June he had the brewery up and running. He started with 2 recipes, and the positive feedback that he got for those really encouraged them to kind of refine them, tweak them, and then he started to actually contract brew to meet the demand for his beers. At the moment they're working to expand their brewery capacity to around 6,000 litres per month, which will increase their output by 10 times, and they're also starting to export their beers as well. As you've seen, they've made it over to England. I think they're going to start sending them to Spain and to other places as well, he was saying. But the brewery is named Colossus because Hal really likes the Greek mythology, and also because the word is really easily recognisable and pronounceable in various different languages around the world. The Colossus of Rhodes was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, and it was a beacon for ships coming into the harbour, and it was supposed to symbolise trade, progress, civilization and returning home. And he says that that's what he kind of wanted to kind of symbolise with his beer. He wanted, to make progress between different countries, and to and basically for people just to kind of, feel like this was something really from their local area. So it's really cool actually, and a big thank you to Hal. Actually, he provided me with a lot of the information on the brewery when I was putting together the notes for the video. So a big thank you to him. I hope he's enjoyed the 2 reviews that I've done for him so far. Hopefully he enjoys this one as well. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about the brewery. They are working to produce more recipes and things like that over the next little while. So hopefully once they get their new brewery up and running, we will see a few more new beers coming out from these guys. But an interesting company, and it is cool to be able to review them for you. If you want to learn more, follow them on Facebook and check out the brewery website. I'll put both of those in the description for you below. But let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself. So yeah, there you can see Nicely presented. This one very similar to the other styles of the other artworks that you've seen on some of the other beers, but of course, as I always say with a brewery, you want to try something from both ends of the spectrum actually. So I've tried the IPA, I've tried the smoked wheat beer, this time we're going to try something from the dark end of things. But there you can see, plain bottle cap on this one, nicely presented beer, as I said, an Imperial Stout at 9% ABV. So without further ado, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting. Yeah, so nice little smoky opening there, bit of a bubble, but yeah, let's get it out and into the glass. We'll see how we get on with this one. My first ever stout beer, first ever dark beer I think actually, from Portugal, so this should be really interesting. So as you can see, and as you would expect from an Imperial Stout, it's poured a nice dark ebony rosewood colour. There's a solid half finger or so of a frothy, I would say, kind of dark tan head on this one. It's not the darkest tan head that I've seen actually, but a nice sort of dark beigey colour. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, quite a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of that head there, but overall, you know, it looks really quite nice actually. So yeah, pretty much as you would expect for an Imperial Stout. If I hold it up to the light, it does have a little bit of a kind of Coca-Cola coloured edge to it, but you know, pretty much as I say, as you would expect from an Imperial Stout. So let's take a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we get on with this one. Ooh, right. For me, this one has quite a bit of milky chocolate in it, to be honest. It's quite a sweet chocolate that's coming out of this one. There is a little bit of a darker high cocoa chocolate in there as well, but for me, it's definitely the chocolatey notes that come out of this one for the most part are sweeter. There's a little bit of a brown sugar element to this one as well, I think. Yeah, when you sugar it up, you start to get some of the kind of caramelly and treacly notes out of this one. The caramel is actually quite sweet as well, going by the aroma. There's a little bit of earthy hop in there as well. You can smell a little bit of that roasted black malt backbone that you would expect too. Sort of earthy hops. And there's a little bit of a red kind of fruity ester to this one as well. It's got a little bit of that, I would say, I don't know. Yeah, it's a little bit, this one's got a little bit of a kind of pruny quality to it. It's got a little bit of that kind of sharper note to it. Maybe it's more raisins actually rather than prunes. But yeah, definitely a little hint of red fruity character to this one. A little bit of earthy hop as I was saying. But to me, the main components of the aroma with this one, it's the sweet chocolate and the kind of sweeter brown sugary elements coming out of it, which are really nice. Maybe a little touch of a nutty note. A little bit, as I say, a little bit of the darker chocolate in there as well. It's not. It doesn't smell all that toasty. This one, this Imperial Stout for me, the aroma does lean a little bit more towards the sweeter side of things, but it does smell really nice actually. Yeah, it's almost just got a little touch of a kind of medicinal quality to it, this beer as well, and that's probably the red fruits that are kind of giving it that, but it smells really nice. So just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma for yourself before you get stuck in. But yeah, this one is the Vasco, an Imperial Stout at 9%. From Cerveja Colossus in Portugal, and you know, it should be really nice. Let's get stuck into this one. Slange, skull. Yeah. Okay. So, compared to the aroma, it's nowhere near as sweet as you would think it's going to be. Although that said, it does sweeten out a little bit as you go further into the aftertaste. Although that said as well, some of the more roasty elements come out a little bit later on. Yeah, this one, you know, as you would expect, it's got that nice roasted black malt backbone. It comes in initially, it fades away a little bit, then as you go further into the aftertaste, it really starts to kind of punch its way out a little bit. This beer's a lot more bitter and a lot more roasty and toasty than I was thinking it would be from the aroma. This one, it really doesn't have very much in the way of brown sugars in the flavour at all, actually. That's what's interesting about this beer. Yeah, I mean, for me, this one, as I say, the roasted black malt backbones there, there's a little touch of a kind of pale malty sort of bready thing to this one. You can feel that just sort of forming the backbone of the beer. There's a lot of high cocoa chocolate in this one. You know, you're talking like 90% cocoa sort of level, and you're getting the nice kind of red fruity esters coming out of it because of that too. I don't think there's really any brown sugars in this one. I think it's a kind of straight up chocolate. Yeah, high cocoa chocolate all the way for this one. You can feel that right in the middle of your palate. There is maybe a little touch of, you know, like a biscuity note or something like that to this one. You can feel, there, I mean, maybe I'm talking rubbish, there maybe is a little bit of a kind of brown sugary note as you go out towards the outsides of the tongue, if you like. The high cocoa chocolate just sits there in the middle of the palate. You can feel the roasty black malt just underpinning it, but there's a nice little bit of a kind of sweet brown sugary note there. And you can feel a little bit of the biscuit as well, but on towards the front of the palate you've got a nice little woody, not woody actually, maybe more of a kind of nutty flavour to this beer as well. You can detect that on this one. It is just sitting there towards the front of the palate, just on top of some of these nice roasty black malts actually. But if you like your Imperial Stouts to lean towards the chocolatey side of things, you are going to enjoy this one. And as I say, I think, to be honest, I would say to you, the sort of roasty, the kind of black malt quality that this beer has, it does take your mouth a little bit of time to adjust to that, but as you get used to it, it definitely sort of just dies down a little bit. Your mouth, the bitter, this beer must be around 70 IBUs, something like that. But your mouth really does adjust to that roasted black malt quality. In terms of the sides of your palate, in terms of the hops, there's a nice little bit of earthy quality there in the back corners of the tongue. As you come further forward along the sides of the palate, it's a little bit more herbal, maybe a little touch of floral quality on the front corners of the palate, but that's very minimal. And then round the very front curve of the palate, it's just a little bit lighter and grassy, I would say. And yeah, just as you go behind the front curve of the palate, of course, that's where you get those nice little oily, that nice little oily bubble where the fruity esters start to come out of this beer. For me, this one's got quite a strong figgy quality to it. There is a little bit of a raisiny sharpness to this one, but for me mainly it's a nice figgy quality that this beer has, and then there is just that little bit of sharpness on the back end of it. As you go further into the aftertaste, the roasty black malts are lingering there. There's a bit of the chocolate as well. The high cocoa chocolate and the black malts are kind of sitting there, and maybe a little, there's a good bit of character from the earthy hops as well. Overall, it's a really, I do like this stout. I like the ones that lean towards the high cocoa chocolate, and it's got that nice roasty black malt backbone to it, which you expect as well. But overall, it's a really, really nice beer. None of these beers that I've had from Cerveja Colossus have disappointed me in any way. In terms of Imperial Stouts, definitely leans a little bit more towards the roasty and toasty side of things. I would have actually expected this to be a bit sweeter than it is compared to when you compare what it tastes like to the Aroma. But a really, really nice beer. And you know, these guys now, how was kind of proved he can brew beer. There's no two doubt in my minds about that. So it'd be cool to see him have a go at a Scotch ale or a New England IPA or something like that. Actually, it'd be really cool to see him have a go at some other different styles of beer. But he's just starting off, and at the moment he's got, you know, 3 pretty damn good quality beers. So, you know, that's fair. That's fair enough. In terms of the mouthfeel, then I would say this beer, in terms of the mouthfeel, this is a little bit lighter for an Imperial Stout. Yeah, to me, this is a kind of mid-bodied beer. It's at the top end of mid-bodied, right enough, but it is a little bit lighter in the mouthfeel compared to what you might expect. When you consider that it's from Portugal, you could understand that, to be honest. It's a hot country, they don't want their beers to be madly heavy, if that makes sense. Carbonation is quite smooth. The mouthfeel in this one, it's somewhere between wet and oily overall. Nice little bit of bitterness from the hops in this one. Good balance of sweetness and bitterness in the malt base, although I would say it leans a little bit more towards the bitter side of things, but there is a nice little bit of chocolate in there to balance it out. And you've got a nice little bit of a kind of red fruity ester as well to give you a little bit of fruity juiciness. But overall, a really solid beer. And in terms of an Imperial Stout, it's pretty damn solid actually. It's really cool, this one. So I'd love to try a few more Imperial Stouts from Portugal and see how we get on with those, but this one is really nice, and I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink this again. It's definitely been a nice taster beer. It's definitely not one that you're going to session, of course, but as a taster beer, it has been really nice to try. So yeah, let's leave it at that. So once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do check out my social media. If you get the chance to try some of the Cerveja Colossus beers, I highly recommend that you do. If you're watching from Portugal, do please give me some other recommendations of Portuguese craft breweries that I should check out. I'd love to know more about the craft beer scene down there. Hopefully I can get out to visit Portugal at some time. It's somewhere that I've never actually been, but I've heard it's very nice. Do check out Craig over at Kent Beer Reviews as well if you want to learn more about Portuguese beer. He's done a good number of reviews there, and I'm sure he will do more again in the future. But this one was really nice, and it's a craft brewery that you definitely want to check out. So this was the Vasco from Cerveja Colossus in Porto in Portugal. Once again, a huge thank you to the guys at Market Hall Wines in Durham. I'll put their link in the description for you below as well, so if you are watching from the Durham area, make sure you check them out as well. But a lovely beer, and I'm really glad that I got to review this one. So until the next time, slange you just now, and I will catch you guys very soon. Hopefully I can review some more Portuguese for you in the very near future. Skål!